who said bikes are only for men. Meet Deepa, the most adventurous woman I have ever met in my life. She rides a 500cc bike, loves exploring different terrains to her solo rides. Listening to her experiences literally gave me goosebumps. I am so excited to have my bike riding teacher who has taught me bike riding way back in 2015.
Yeah.
When people were like, when I put up a post on Facebook, I remember I put up a post saying, is there any women who conducts bike riding classes? I want to learn it from her. So people were like, have you gone nuts? Why would somebody conduct bike riding classes, and that too women? I'm not kidding. There were actually messages to me on my Facebook inbox, and there was some amazing person who commented, fellow bike rider, who sent me the link of a page where you were conducting bike riding classes. She's Deepa Radhakrishnan. She's my bike riding teacher, an amazing human being, a psychologist, and we'll get into a lot more information regarding bike riding from you. Thank you so much for coming on to my podcast, The Hidden Mic, where the unspoken becomes the unheard. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me here.
I'm so excited, and
Totally.
I really wanted to know from you. So when did this interest in learning a bike begin?
So that's exactly how it happened with me.
Yeah.
It was not about a man or a girl.
Right.
I was playing with all my friends and they were getting onto bikes, onto cycles.
Right.
All of that. And so I'd pull out my cycle too and race with them and all of that.
Right.
So when I went to Kerala and with my cousins, we were taking turns and taking bike rides. I mean, once a cycle each.
Right.
Yeah. And then this neighbor comes. We were doing like an adult cycle. We were riding that, each of us trying it out, right? And this neighbor comes and he's looking at me. I was the only girl there. So he's looking at me and he's like, almost amused and then like, why are you riding? And he's like laughing at me. And I'm like, what's wrong? Like, what's wrong with the bike? Is something wrong with the bike? Am I wearing something else? Everything else. I'm not even thinking that I'm a girl so I shouldn't be riding. That's what he was coming with. And I was killing it. I was riding it better than the guys.
Lovely.
And so I was wondering why he would. I realized only later that he was meaning that a girl shouldn't ride. And so from then on, it was like, how can they tell me that I shouldn't be doing? So it gradually happened that I picked up the bike too. Always, right from then, it was a thing that I have to buy my bike. I never thought of a scooty or Activa or anything like that. I was only looking at different bikes from my childhood, yeah.
Amazing. What was your first bike?
My first bike was a different thing, but my uncle taught me on a Vespa. It's got hand gears. Yeah, it was like very interesting.
Cool.
So that was first. Yeah. And then slowly by college time, I got a Yamaha RX100.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
a friend
what
taught
made you
me.
choose that?
Everything was about 150, 180 cc around that time.
Yeah.
And then I got this 100cc bike on my hand.
Right.
And I rode the other bikes too, but nothing had the power or the pickup that the RX100 gave. And it sounded so beautiful. It would take me like that, like a bullet. Right. It was exciting.
I think for the
RX100.
bike riding classes also you taught.
Yeah.
Cool. That was your first bike, the RX100.
The RX100, yes. I got another RX100 for teaching. It's not my bike. My first bike, I keep it aside. It's for me. I got another RX100. I think it's a nice bike to learn on. It's got the right height. It's lightweight.
Right.
Tackling the gears is not so easy as the latest bikes. Yeah. So once you learn that, then you can move on to a higher cc bike and handle those gears also very easily.
Right.
So if I teach on an RX100, otherwise I had the Unicorn and other bikes in hand too, which was available to teach.
Right.
I do that once in a while in between. But I don't start off with that. RX100 is where I started with all women, yeah.
And right now, I believe you own a Royal Enfield.
Yeah. I've earlier had a classic, the Desert Storm,
Right.
the brown bike. I've seen that.
Yeah. And now, currently?
Now I have a Bullet Standard 500, yeah. I'm going to stick with
See, this is two women, chala healthy, we are discussing bikes. And it happens, okay? So bikes are not, why should boys have all the fun?
All the
You know,
fun,
bikes
yes.
bikes have no, gender.
Yeah.
It is just
Totally.
your interest.
Yeah, it's a
and-
machine. It doesn't know if you're a man or a
yeah,
woman.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was, like very shocked in because I'm also an actor. I go for my movie promotions, and in some interviews, I was asked by some people that, why did you pick interest in bike riding? What made you pick? Like as if it's a very unusual thing.
Mhm.
So it's just my interest.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to
be
do anything
like a
yeah.
sudden
So I don't
intervention
want
coming
to
into
be
your life.
felt
Yeah.
as an odd person out for the choices I make, and it's
Yeah.
just a vehicle for me.
Yeah.
It's just my interest,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
It's way safer than a
Safer, yeah.
moped.
Yeah.
Mopeds have smaller tires. Mopeds have lesser suspension.
it's just the
Yeah, it's.
issues and all
Yeah,
of
I
that.
think everybody should pick up a geared bike.
Yeah.
It's got so much more control that you can.
So
play with.
that is what I wanted to ask you also. I'm so glad you brought it up. You know, a lot of people that I know,
Mm-hmm.
women, are genuinely interested in learning a bike, but they have this fear that, it's too heavy.
Mhm.
You know, especially when it comes to cruise bikes,
Mhm.
they have this preconceived notion that it's too heavy or it's not meant for us, and oh my god, I don't think we can do it. So could you shed some light on the issues people have when it comes
Issues
to
people
yeah,
have.
yeah,
Yeah.
mindset,
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
facts, because it's better, because you are a rider.
Biker and
yeah,
everything.
it
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah,
Of course, it's a machine, however heavy,
yeah,
a person is tackling it.
Yeah.
So there are certain techniques that you have to use to tackle any machine.
exactly.
Yeah, you can't just go and say, hey,
Yeah,
I know you, and you just start and run smoothly and
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
like that, right? So the same way even for the bike, if you know the right technique, you can handle the weight, you can handle the braking, you can handle everything, the gears, everything.
yeah.
It's as easy as putting a light bulb on.
Yeah.
There are, you can't just attach it like that. It's not magnetic. You have to go twist it, push it in, and all of that. Yeah, there are steps to put even a bulb.
Yeah.
So the same way you learn the steps,
Yeah.
and then you handle this. You have, when it comes to weight, you have men who are very short and who are handling it
Oh,
with
yeah,
so
exactly.
much confidence. They
Exactly.
just pick it up and,
Exactly.
yeah, what are they doing? I mean, even if you are 80 kgs, 90 kgs, 100 kgs, you can't lift a bike double your weight. And
yeah.
most cruisers are very heavy bikes.
yeah.
You can't lift a bike.
Yeah.
Nobody can
Yeah.
lift
You
twice
have to
their
just
weight.
know how to balance it.
Yeah, you have to know where to
The
keep,
techniques.
like how much to tilt
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
how
yeah,
much to, the techniques.
That
yeah.
is why bike riding classes.
Bike riding
And
classes.
when you came up with this idea of bike riding classes, like what were the different reactions of those around you, and were there
First
any?
of all, I came up with it because I was going to different places, and all these women kept coming to ask me questions. How do you do it? And like the biker events that I was attending had like 2,000 different people, 2,000 different men. I keep telling people because I keep it gender neutral, but then now I have to be more gender specific. So 2,000 different men or 3,000 men, and you'll see about 16 to 18 women. Half of them will be wives and girlfriends, and then maybe lesser than 10 of them will be actual bikers who are actually visiting that. Earlier it was like that. Now it's improving. It's way better. But and so many women coming and telling, hey, you're doing all of this, and they look at the gear system itself as rocket science. How can you even understand that? How are you tackling that? Forget the weight. Weight is actually an issue that you have to learn and put in time with, but gears are not an issue. When people started asking me like that, when women started asking me about it, and so I started telling them, hey, why don't you just do this? Try this out or try that out. I had to think a lot of how I did it for myself, and then because it becomes a muscle memory slowly. So slowly started telling them, hey, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? And then realized that they were not ready to try even that unless somebody is there, because they're so ingrained in their mind that this is difficult. It's the whole concept is ingrained into their conditioned. Conditioned totally. Break that conditioning. I had to decide that, okay, I'll start teaching. I'll teach you. Okay, I'll teach you. And slowly I was like, okay. Another friend also suggested, that, yeah, this is a brilliant idea. And so I was like, okay, this is what I'll do. I mean, I do work.
Yeah.
I have my own things that I do apart from this, but this is also something that I do once in a while just so that I keep that going. It's not for,
Yeah.
it's only
You
for
have a
breaking
successful
that.
student in front of you.
Yeah, I'm so happy. Yeah, and especially that you're coming out in media. I mean, we see you on the screen,
Yeah.
and so many more women. I see your posts.
Yes.
When you put it out, so many women commenting.
Yes,
It's so
yes,
nice.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's exactly what we need.
And-
We just need to see more women doing these different things. Yeah.
True. And there was also one actress. She's a very known person, so she also was interested in learning bike riding. She doesn't stay in Hyderabad, but it's just that they want to know the right person to learn to. And she was quite impressed when I showed your profile to her and all of that. She took your number. I'm sure she'll contact you soon. So there are so many women who want to learn bike riding.
Yeah.
But it's just that they need the right medium.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're giving that space because you're doing other things and you're keeping this going. I'm really glad.
I kept wondering why their husbands, their friends, and everybody who has a bike are not teaching them. Why and then I realized men just give the bike to their friends. I was telling your friend also earlier. They just pass on the bike and say, hey, learn. This is where the first gear goes. Just learn.
Yeah.
And they're so much more confident on, okay, I'll do something or the other and learn it off and all. But then when they actually go out onto the road, you see 50% of them, they have horrible riding skills. And I'm scared like where they'll put the front brake instead of the rear brake. They're braking right in front of me. They don't know. Yeah, it's a little scary to get out into the traffic also.
It's very scary. And I'm so glad you conduct the bike riding classes.
Slowly happening like that. A lot of men, they don't teach their wife. They expect them to learn like that, or girlfriends, or sister, or anybody, not just their wife. They expect them to learn like that. But there's this thing that I've been telling. Just recently, I got like a biker friend's wife called me and she ranted away for an hour on why she's been asking her husband for 6 years now. And she hasn't yet learnt it. And then I spoke to him and I was like, he goes all over India, like long distance rides and all. And he takes her along, but he doesn't
teach her properly.
He wants her to ride, but he doesn't teach her. He doesn't have this one. But it's not about him. It's about most men because they're conditioned to think like right from your childhood. You tell a boy, be strong, be brave. And you tell a woman, like, careful this, if you're going out, careful. If you're doing a jump, careful. Anything is careful. So you go out with that perception. You see most women riders also, they're sitting straight. They're doing every step. I mean, they're more careful. I trust them more. But then most people, you can spot the car which is going in a certain way and you can tell it's a woman rider mostly, a driver mostly. Yeah. But it's that whole conditioning again. You're being careful all the time. You're not being confident. You're not confident in your own skills that, yes, now I've learned it. Now I can be a little more free. It'll be a muscle memory and I can go ease out. No, but every day in and out, you're only careful.
Very.
So
your entire system is.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So you are, I believe recently you went for a solo ride.
Yeah, I had like a crazy ride. Yes, totally.
So I wanted to like understand your preferences, as a bike rider. Like I'm sure you also went for the group rides. So what do you prefer? Like, firstly, you went on a solo ride. So how was it? How many days were you off on the road? And I really wanted to ask you.
This was slightly shorter than my usual trips, but I was
shorter?
This one was for 21 days. Yeah,
that is the shortest.
This is slightly shorter comparatively. I go for a month and a half or so, without an agenda. Yeah. I just know the direction that I'm heading off in.
Lovely.
So mostly I go on solo rides.
Right.
I've done group rides too. Right. And smaller groups is what I prefer.
Right.
Yeah. The only difference is that when we are doing group rides, you're maintaining a certain speed for the first person and for the last. the
Yeah.
tail, the marshal and
Yeah.
the tail.
Yeah.
You're going in a group, and if
I went.
there you have support. If something happens to your bike,
Hmm.
everybody stops. Or if you're feeling queasy, hot, like tired, anything, everybody stops. They give you things.
Yeah.
There's this ride in the night that I was doing from outside Mumbai. I was on the outskirts of Mumbai, and I was feeling a little sleepy. It was a group ride, and they were all going at 70 speed, the average speed, everybody together.
Yeah.
And so it was constant for me. I go a little higher than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was constant, and so it was making me even more drowsy. But the others from the group, what they started doing is every minute they would circle and they would come and honk. So I was up and alert, and we'd stop, have water
Nice.
every now and then we kept going.
Nice.
So that way, the support for anybody and everybody in that group once they've joined is immense.
Wow.
Anything small happens, and they know how to fix bikes. Everybody knows so many more things. You get to learn, you get to see it firsthand, what they're doing it, how they're doing it,
Yeah.
what are they realizing, which part the sound is coming from, and all of that. Their techniques you get to see firsthand. You don't really go to a mechanic shop and stand there and keep watching while they're servicing your bike. You just drop it off and come back. But these rides I've learned a lot from other bikers. So the group rides, yes, but slowly I started preferring solo. Yeah, I get up whenever I want.
Yeah.
Instead of waking up early in the morning, I realized I sleep.
Right.
I need my sleep, and so decided without getting my full night's rest, I'm not going to get out of the bike and get in the highway.
Right.
So I finish my sleep. I have a light snack, not too full, and then I get out. I'm totally prepared mentally when I'm stepping out.
Right.
Yeah, so solo rides are so much fun that way. I can stop wherever,
Right.
and then I don't feel like riding another 250 kilometers to a certain hotel where we booked.
Right.
Then I stop elsewhere. I'm not feeling guilty for the entire group.
Yeah. Right.
And from this location, some other tourist tells me there's a waterfall there, or that location is nice. Why don't we try it out? In a group, you have a schedule and you have to go to the next place.
You have to stick
because
to-
you have to stick to it. And here I have all the liberty to go explore how many other places I want.
I agree.
Talk to people, have local food.
Yeah.
All of that. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's more of a connect.
Right.
You get to hear so many stories from different people. That's what keeps me going
For the solo ride.
for the solo rides. Yes.
So what was your destination for the recent 21-day trip that you've done, for your bike ride? Where did you
There's
go?
no destination. There's never a destination. But the route that I took, I went from here to Trivandrum. I stopped at Krishnagiri and then went to Trivandrum. From there to Kanyakumari, back to Trivandrum. There was a bikers festival in Kanyakumari this time. Bob MC Ridermania. I go for it every year.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's if you're part of a Royal Enfield club,
Yeah.
only clubs, only then you can go.
go.
You have the
Next year
other
I'll go.
Ridermania, but it's different. People from all over India, from different clubs, come there, right? Every year they come.
Wow.
So you get to see your family. It's not everybody who has a Enfield bike. It's everybody who's part of a club. Same people again and again. So I have friends from different places. You meet them, you continue on a conversation that you left off
Wow.
the previous years. And there's this friend from Nepal who gets me goodies, small little candies and all from Nepal every year. It's nice to get to catch up with them. You think of a vacation with 4 friends.
Right.
To coordinate everybody's schedules, it's so difficult and it keeps postponing. It happens after 6 months.
Yeah.
But this, you're meeting all your friends and family right there every year. Yeah, it's nice.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
that
very
way.
insightful.
Yeah, that's why I keep going back there. Yeah.
So when you go for your solo bike rides and all of that,
Mm-hmm.
is there a pattern? Because right now you just said that there's no destination. When you wake up, you're
I was telling the route. I went off somewhere else.
no, not at all.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, is there any pattern, when you pick the places when you go for your solo ride, in terms of from Hyderabad, if you just feel like, let me go on a solo ride,
Yeah.
So do you prefer like north side or south side? Like which places do you prefer? Not at a destination types. Like does it depend on the season or? I just
Yeah,
wanted to
it definitely
understand.
depends on the season. Yes,
Right.
I'm not going south now.
Yeah.
Like right now in May. Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
depends on the season.
Yeah, totally on the season
So
also.
summer,
Yes.
what do you prefer? And rainy seasons, what do you prefer?
To the northeast, yeah, I have so much more to explore there. Yeah. Uh, of course, the north is also good. I love going. I've ridden from here to
Yeah,
Himachal and yeah, a little
I've seen
beyond.
those pictures. I think
Yeah.
a couple of years ago. Also, you went towards that part of Himachal. There was some
Rohtang and all of that. Yes, yes.
lovely.
Yeah. I went to Dharamshala,
Oh
Dharamkot.
yes.
Yeah.
Those were lovely
Bhagsu
pictures.
Dharamkot is very nice. Yeah. Yeah. And then I go to the other, different sites wherever I haven't been also. Yeah. Yeah. I was telling you about this trip, right? So from this trip, the recent trip that I did, from Kanyakumari, once I got back from the group,
Right.
the rest of them from my club, they left. And so I went on to Vagamon. I went through first to Varkala, then Kollam, then Vagamon. From there, even if you have a schedule, there are so many people suggesting other places. So I went to Marayur. I discovered it's right beside Kantalur. All this is close to Munnar.
Oh wow.
So I touched Munnar also.
Scenic places.
Yeah. It's into the forest a little. On the state highway goes in there, and then
Beautiful.
there's a private waterfall right beside the cabin. The cabin only had like 2 rooms.
Wow.
And so nobody else around. The caretaker is also a little far away, like 500 meters away. And yeah, the waterfall is close by. I just have to walk for 2 minutes and then come there. Nobody coming. So totally no signals also. So I didn't touch the phone. I was so surprised. Not even for half an hour did I think I should look at something. I have downloaded videos. I had so many Netflix things that was already on my phone, but I didn't touch any of it. It's just in my thoughts and then the nature, and it was so beautiful. So many different types of trees, so many
Wow.
different types of birds. It's all like interesting to watch what their behaviors are, what time they're coming. I saw bisons and peacocks and so many
I'm
others. Yeah.
so checking out that place.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
thinking-
you should go there.
I will, I will.
Yeah, I was talking the other day. I was telling him, go to Marayur.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's and this happened because you went on your solo ride and you explored the place.
Yes.
Otherwise, I'm
I
sure
got
you-
to know about this
Ah.
place like that. So that's why there's no schedule, because I
Right.
know on the route I'll find travelers and then they'll suggest. Of course, even the bikers.
Yeah.
There's this guy from Kerala who's explored every bit of it, and he has this
Wow.
travel thing. So it's not your usual Google recommendations that he gives. His name is Sudhi. So he was the one who was telling me all these other places also. He suggested, like even in Kodai, he suggested a different place which is a little away from Kodai. So that's why you need to be with
Yeah.
bikers all the time.
So I'm sure definitely, because when Google Maps will give you a certain location, but when you are in
Yeah.
touch with the people from the bike riding community,
Yeah.
they give you like the unexplored location.
Yes.
Because
yes,
they're
totally.
exploring it.
Yeah, they are exploring it.
Give you.
Yeah, he's already vetted these places in a certain way to say it's safer and
Yeah.
you can go, and there are things that you can do around it. Yeah, so that way
It comes from a reliable source.
Yes.
So that your solo travel, you're enjoying the scenic view. At the same time,
Yes.
it's safer for you.
Yeah, I'm also taking advice from travelers.
Right.
They've been to places, they show me their pictures, then I go there. Yeah.
Did you ever go to an international like ride? Did you ever do an
Oh no,
international
I have
ride?
not done one.
Did you
Yes,
want
I
to?
do. I do totally want to do a few. Of course, there are people like Candida who's done so many
Oh, yeah,
rides.
Candida
yes,
Lewis.
Candida Lewis.
Yeah.
Yes,
That was
she's
very
inspiring.
inspiring, yeah.
Yes, she did. She rode all the way from India to
Yeah.
Australia.
Bangalore to Sydney.
Bangalore to Sydney. Yes, in between she did put the bike on the ferry, but still, like the whole ride from here to get the logistics
Yeah.
and to have the perseverance and to go all the way, plan it and go. Yes, that's like a really great feat. Yeah.
She's like amazing.
I also want to go to a few places. Like
Right.
I want to go to Cambodia. There's this 10-day trail that you can go on in between the forest. That's one thing. My brother was suggesting that I should go to Iceland.
Oh.
It's a nice ride and the roads are great. And yeah, those places. Bhutan, I have friends there. Nepal, yes. This year, Nepal for sure. Yeah.
This year you're going
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Nepal?
yeah.
I am looking forward to. Let me know.
Yeah.
Deepa, you are an experienced bike rider, but there's so much negativity on solo bike rides for especially women.
Mm-hmm.
So people are really scared to even try a solo ride. Like so
Yeah.
far, the longest ride I've been to is from Hyderabad to Hampi, Hampi to Hyderabad. I went with a group of Java riders.
Okay.
So I haven't done my solo ride yet.
Yeah.
So even there is some.
You mean a long ride, but
Yeah,
you've
long
done
ride.
a lot of. I've
Yeah.
seen your posts.
Yeah. I've
Yeah,
done
you've done outskirts of the city and
outskirts
coming
all I've
back.
done.
Yes, yes.
But I have this impulse in me where a lot of times, I think maybe 5 to 6 times so far, I wanted to just take my bike. I had this impulse, because I have a proper bike riding gear.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to go to, Goa, or I just wanted to go to, and it was this impulse. I was like, okay, let me check my bank account. I'm like, okay, I can manage, I can handle. But then I was like, no, let me not do it, because there was a part of me which was scared. I'm talking about myself here. So I'm sure there are a lot of women out there who might have the same notion.
Mm-hmm.
So since you've been on a, solo.
I've been on rides, yeah.
If you could share
So,
some tips.
I've been riding for 2 decades almost now.
20
So
years.
yeah. So it's become more automatic for me. But if you're starting off, you have to be careful about so many things.
Yeah.
Now I understand the roads. I understand where I should be stopping, where I shouldn't be stopping, all of that. So to be mentally prepared like that. But first thing, even before you get onto the bike, if you know a few techniques, right? Highway riding is so much different from city riding.
Right.
Just because you ride the bike well in the city, you can't be expecting to do the same there. Because the speeds are totally different. You're riding at 50, 60, 70 maximum here. There you're riding at 80, 90, 100. So your bike reacts differently. It brakes differently. There's a longer braking brake stop distance that you need, all of that. So you have to understand that first before you get on to a highway riding. You do a few of that, like a shorter ride. So what you're doing outskirts is perfect for preparation towards a longer ride. Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, because women in specific, because I'm sure even and all the people in India know that recently there was a Spanish woman who was doing, she was on a world trip with her husband on her bike. In Jharkhand, she was gang raped, and it was very unfortunate.
Very shocking, and she was super brave. I mean, the way she's talking about it and all right now it must have been traumatizing. You don't know when and where all these things happen. These things are not really, it can happen in any corner of India or the world. It can happen and you can't be prepared for it. Yeah, but that zone, especially anybody coming down from Delhi or going up, in the biker community, we tell each other, hey, you have to be careful in this belt.
Jharkhand.
Yeah. Through that whole region, yes.
Which region is it?
When you're coming post Agra, when you keep coming down, the Jhansi, Sagar, what was that? Chambal area. Yeah.
Chambal, I've heard.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous.
Yeah. So I think the Naxal or dacoit culture earlier has become like a petty thieves is what you find. A few of them. I'm not saying everybody there. I'm not generalizing, but there are. And so bikers tell you so many stories about different regions, but this region in particular is what we are discussing about. So here also they tell you that in the evening after 6 o'clock, don't stop anywhere. Just be in a hotel room. Just go, get into a room and be safe.
Right.
Even for men or women. Not just for women, Nobody rides after 6 in the evening. So what they do is they have ropes across the highway, 2 people. And then when you go closer, you can't see it from far off when it's a rope in the dark. And they just pull. So you just fall, they take everything and they go. But then the fall is so much more dangerous for you. I mean, with that speed when you're going and falling off. Yeah, so when you're getting instructions like that continuously, and this is data that you have to talk to people from different areas, talk to bikers, understand what the road conditions are like, also understand what it is like on the highways. Do you have enough stores? Do you have enough petrol bunks? all of that in today's time.
Yeah.
What happened 1 year ago is different from what's happening now.
Yeah.
So if somebody's gone on that road recently, we ask them, hey, what's it like? And they give you all these instructions, and then you're more mentally prepared to do that ride.
Yeah.
And just not take off. Recently on this ride, I was going off, it was already on reserve, and then I was doing a ride in the night.
Okay.
And then went to a petrol bunk. It showed on Google Maps, it was so far off. And I was already worried and the light was on. I was so happy that I found the petrol bunk, but nobody. I kept waiting for beyond 10 minutes, but I've already told myself that I won't be stopping at places for too long like this in public. Yeah. Kept waiting, and then I had to be back on the highway again. And then I'm riding and I'm thinking, oh my God, like, what if the bike stops? Will I have to push it? Will the next petrol bunk be open? This is like the basic of issues. It's not my bike breaking down or anything like that. But that also is like a worry. Will I be able to push this with so much luggage?
Right.
All
what
that
happened?
way, yeah.
I want to know. I am really like, what did you find?
Like
another
maybe like I had like 2 kilometers left or something is when I found the petrol
Oh
bunk,
my
and
God.
that guy, he just jumped up. He was not even sleeping at like 2:30 in the night. He just jumped up the moment he saw his. Yeah, it felt like he was waiting for me. It felt like God's come down and waiting for me to. And so, yeah, he told me for the next 50 kilometers, there's nothing. If I had missed that, then I'd be stranded in the middle of the night. And the Bangalore to Hyderabad, this was my last stretch. Bangalore to Hyderabad road has no people around, no houses around, nothing around. It's just huge highway, no dhabas. In certain pockets, you have a lot of huge establishments and all of that,
Right.
but not everywhere.
It's
It's
scary.
just dark and nothing there.
It's very scary.
You can't get help. You'll just have,
Oh my God.
so.
As you were telling also, I was like, what happened next? Did she get the petrol
thankfully,
bunk?
I was like 50 kilometers. If I didn't have it, then I'd be there on the highway. I was also looking for places to sleep,
Right.
which could be a safe spot if I have to stop.
Right.
Because I can't sleep with my helmet. If I have to take
Yeah,
off my helmet, then people know that I'm a woman standing there alone.
that's one big thing.
All of that. Yeah. If you're a guy, just tent and all of that. Yes.
Yeah.
But,
Women have to think of so many things.
Yeah.
So did
So,
you
yes.
find a place to stop by?
No, I didn't. I didn't stop. Thankfully, I had that. Yeah, I stopped like at 6 in the morning. Is when once I saw the sun up, is when I stopped. Yeah. So that's my rule. Like I get everything. I do night rides too. I don't suggest it to everybody, but I get everything and put it on my bag. I get my snacks. I get my food. Anything that I'll need. Of course, I have all the my toolkit, not just the standard toolkit that the company gives you, but the extra additional things to carry from basics like extra clutch wires, brake wires,
Wow.
everything from.
Do you know how to fix it?
I do. Yeah, I do
Basics.
know the.
Basics.
Yeah. I've
Wow.
learned the very basics so that I can
Amazing.
fix
Nice.
small things like this on my own. Yes.
Nice.
If it gets that difficult and I'm not making sense of what is happening to my bike,
Right.
I have people, I contact them, show them, make them hear the sound, and they
wow.
tell me, but because I know certain basics and
Right.
then with their help, I have my entire toolkit, additional toolkit.
Right.
So with their help, I start fixing it up. I also download YouTube videos, download and keep it on my phone, and that for basic fixing of the
just in
bike and
case
all
if
of
the
that.
net doesn't
Just
work.
in case, yeah, that's there. I'm not looking for network, yeah,
Right.
and I can fix my bike. Or otherwise, if there is network, then I call somebody and then understand it and then fix my bike.
Right. That's very thoughtful.
Yeah, that's what you just have to be aware of what is happening, aware of the people around you all the time. Yeah, if you are riding in the night or even during the day, being aware of, or even on the road, be aware of your surroundings.
It's very
Always,
important.
yes.
Do you carry
As a
pepper
woman,
spray?
I used to.
That's good. Yeah.
Now I have my Pana, the big one,
Ah, nice.
handy.
There's
yeah,
one
it's right in my side pocket.
nice, nice. There's a knuckle duster.
Well,
That's different.
pepper spray is easier, yes.
Pepper spray is easier. I
Yeah.
googled into some like things that you can carry when you're on a solo ride. So there's
Yes.
one like alarm kind of thing. It's just a small keychain, but if
Yeah.
you pull it, the noise it makes will
Circulate in the
circulate
area.
for like a
Okay.
longer area. That is one interesting thing I found.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
Oh,
there's
that's also another thing. When somebody is approaching you
yeah.
and you're scared,
Yeah.
you make a louder
Yeah,
noise.
yeah.
Try and make as much
Yeah.
noise. Even if you don't have the
Yeah,
alarm, just
yeah,
honk
yeah,
and do
yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
People usually walk away because of those things.
There's one device which gives a shock to the other person who's approaching us. I
Ah,
don't know
yes.
why.
The cops, the cops use taser
so
guns.
for me, I found it very
Yeah.
interesting. So I'm like, I shouldn't.
Pepper sprays are safer. Yeah, even by mistake, if you do it, after 30 minutes, there's no damage to their eyes, but you have enough time to remove yourself from that situation.
Right.
First thing is not to indulge in a fight, just like how much ever they are insulting, just move away from that situation. Don't engage with anybody who's going into that negative trait at all. Yeah. Control it for yourself. They are nothing to you. It doesn't mean anything about you. It means about everything about them. And you just walk off from that or run from there as much as possible. Escape.
Makes total sense. Were there any incidents that you faced when you were on any of your, bike rides? And if so, how
So
did you handle it?
the same Chambal area zone, I was coming back and I started from Agra. I did from Agra to Hyderabad. So in that zone, around 8 o'clock is when I go and have my dinner. So I was like, let me look for different dhabas. And then there's this place which had like beautiful aroma, even though I didn't expect to stop there.
Right.
I just stopped and then there was nobody in the hotel, but the food was so inviting, the smell itself. So I went in, sat there. It seemed there was one lady, there was one man. Usually I stop with more trucks around. That means there are more people and the food is also good. If I don't find a better spot, then on the smaller highways, this time I just stopped and I finished. But by the time I was finishing, there were more people suddenly from somewhere who came. Like there was this van filled with 8 men. There were like 2 other bikes and then 1 more car, all of them in a group. And they also came to the dhaba and they put their bikes and the vehicles around mine. So by the time I finished everything and I started going towards my bike, they also came off. And now the van guy is, they're all sitting on it, blasting music. Everybody has these speakers going on. He opens the van and he's standing like this and he's looking at me. And I'm right beside him. It's not even like 2 feet because his van is here and I'm right there. I'm looking straight ahead. I'm like, okay, don't put your head down. Don't show that you're scared or anything. What will I do in this situation? How do I already have my pepper spray. I was doing a check on that. So slowly took it out, put it in my jacket pocket. I'm zipping it up. I have to still put my other things. And that guy is totally
Right.
indicating,
Provoking,
provocating. So I just looked and then
Right.
without instigating him, put on my gear without being anything at all, no showing any emotions, but look up and not be scared. And then I realized that I took out my phone and then I just acted as if I was talking to my friends and they were like, where are you guys? Oh, you're just 5 minutes away. Okay, all 50 of you are coming. Okay, great. I'm just leading. You just come up, join me. All of that I had to talk in Hindi also.
Yeah.
So that these guys understand. And I have broken Hindi, but I managed talking through that whole thing. And then I was like, okay, they think that
Yeah.
more people are joining me. Slowly took out my bike. The others don't know. I mean, in the corners, they are pulling out as I'm pulling out.
Oh.
But thankfully, this was a Maruti van, and those were like 150, 180cc bikes, and I was on a 500cc bike, and I could go. I don't think I looked back for 50 kilometers. I was just like that, like straight ahead, looking if there's anything on the road at all, and just going at it, keeping like everything there, fully aware, fully present, full speed, as much
God.
as I could. Just went. Yeah, but that
It's scary.
yeah, totally scary. I'm thinking like, will they be calling somebody else? That's what the stories that I've heard is like. You meet people here, and there are other people waiting for you ahead.
Yeah.
All these things will happen.
Yeah.
So that's why I had to be, and
Because-
50 kilometers, and then is when I was like, okay, nothing now. Maybe
I feel
they
you.
followed me for a long time. Yeah, they were trying to go back. In the night, you can't go too fast, even if I have a 500cc. Yeah. Too fast. And then I started understanding the road a little bit, that the highway is slightly better, and started increasing my speed, and slowly over time lost them. But otherwise, they're coming full noise, right? Speakers, I could still hear them for long. Yeah.
It's very scary.
It is, but
You
yeah.
need to be very aware.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but yeah, knowing that I had my pepper spray, knowing a few things, and thinking that I should make the call or something like that, all that made me feel a little.
Right.
Knowing that I should not show fear too much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all of that. Yeah.
So I'm just thinking in the back of my head, if I have to, because as you were telling, I was imagining you in the picture, those guys in the picture. It sounded very scary.
Looking at
yeah, it's very scary.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'll go on a solo.
It happened only because there was a puncture, and so my whole schedule got delayed,
Yeah.
and I was out on that highway later in the night than I thought, and I stopped despite my whole plan of not stopping. The food just called me, and I stopped.
yeah.
All that was not planned for, but then these things keep happening. Yeah.
You have to be
But
very
I'm
aware.
mentally prepared, and I'm telling myself, okay, but I still love the journey. I like my night rides too, and I'm not going to stop that.
Right. You
Just,
have to be more aware and more
yeah.
careful. Yeah.
yeah. I'm
There's this-
responsible. I send my Google location to my group or
Oh,
like
nice.
family.
Nice.
People who can respond actually. So
Yeah,
bikers, a wonderful support community across India, and
I agree.
they come within half an
I
hour.
agree.
They call somebody who's close by, and they send them over.
Yeah.
That's why Royal Enfield.
Yeah. I love the
Royal Enfield
people.
clubs are so many more, and so you have that support so much.
Yeah.
Once you move to any superbike,
Yeah.
which is also wonderful, I love riding them.
Yeah.
But the community is much smaller.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll go on a solo bike ride immediately because I have a lot of inhibitions. But like within, the city outskirts, I'm doing bike rides and all of that. If you have to like suggest me any nearby place or, any place which is like safer, maybe for 200, 300 kilometers, like 150 on and 150 back, what would you suggest? Like nearby to Hyderabad.
Of course, you have Anantagiri Hills and other places like that, which is
Right.
really nice. That's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
70 kilometers, and you can keep.
It's beautiful.
It's a nice ride early in the morning. You have so many peacocks out onto
Yeah.
the road, and then you start seeing the valleys right there. But you have so many waterfalls which have started around. I'm not sure with the names. I'm a little but Tipeshwar is a good place now.
Which one?
Tipeshwar.
Tipeshwar.
Yeah. It's
How
on
long
the-
is it?
Around
From Hyderabad?
350, I think. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Is there any place to like
4 to 5
for
hours.
accommodation?
6 hours. Yeah. There are so many places there for accommodation. Yes.
places.
And you can go for the safari.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
There's a safari there?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
You can get
on
in
my list.
and yeah.
I'm definitely exploring.
Yeah.
Which month is better to explore this place?
Yeah, maybe August, September will be perfect.
Cool.
December will be beautiful. It'll be little chilly.
Right.
Every other month except leave March to maybe May, June.
Not the summers.
Yeah. If you like the rain, it's still nice. I mean, of course, you can't venture out to a lot of places in the rain, but still, I like going out and being in nature and just seeing the rain fall on those leaves.
Soaking yourself in nature's healing
Yes.
therapy.
Yeah.
And about Tangi sessions, a lot
Tangi
of people
sessions.
don't know. Deepa is also part of Tangi
Actually,
sessions, and it's
yeah.
lovely. Could you like throw some light on Tangi sessions? It's
Yeah. So it's this music initiative that me and my partner Arjuna, we've started together, and we curate experiences around individual independent music. So what we do is we do different camping with music, but you have other activity also. We do city shows. We do different varieties of shows. It's not like just one thing. House sessions happen.
Lovely.
Yeah, we've
Different
done
venues.
different when we don't go to clubs, we don't go to the usual traditional places, except maybe once in a while, maybe 2% of our shows would have been done in venues like that,
Right.
and that too more initially. And then we realized that the crowds don't really come ahead and actually listen to the artists when they've made their own original pieces. So we've made a space where people come and sit and listen to the artist, and they are engaging in the whole thing. But it's also so much therapeutic. You're sitting in this nice venue or place like out in the forest or different. We did one. Everything that we did recently was at the 17th century heritage spot in Bansilal Pet. There's a step well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it
Amazing.
was. Yeah. The rainwater project people, they brought it back to life. They were going to convert it into a parking lot, and they brought it back. So we had people come there. So these are all exclusive, like maybe 100, 150 people. I mean, when we do it in the city,
It's a close community.
yeah, we don't put it out on Book My Show or any other place like that. So the audience is also coming because they've understood about the community. Not everybody wants to just listen. Even in the movie theater, when you go, you see so many people talking. You don't want, you keep telling them, hey, lower, you can talk, but then lower. They don't understand it. They want to come there and sit and talk. So they have other places to go to when they want to do that. Now, once you understand what we're doing, like we did this carbon neutral tour around India. We went to 7-8 cities with this artist who's so we traveled by trains. We were conscious about the carbon footprint.
Wow.
Yeah, all of that. And then even at each venue, we took how people are commuting to and fro from and we also suggested people to do carpooling, all of that. Suggested in the sense, tried to coordinate people and got them to come together. When we knew which area they're coming from, we collected that information on a form, Google form first, and then gave them suggestions. If they are interested, there is somebody traveling, so why don't you pool? So that way, reduce the carbon footprint, and then that was
deep
really
initiative,
nice.
Deepa, like to save our nature and thinking about the pollution and the what we can do individually to reduce the pollution that we're doing. Carpooling and all of that saves up a lot of the pollution. Saves up a lot of unnecessary things that we do. It's even minimalistic approach towards a greener earth.
Greener earth. We try to be conscious as possible, like even for the decor, we do minimalistic decor. Of course, we have our lights and all which are required.
Right.
The right sound equipment, all of that. But the stage, we've built stages with branches from the venue.
Right.
And we cleared up like a dump yard right here in Banjara Hills, this one place.
Oh, lovely.
And it had like this beautiful trees and all of that and a huge boulder. Nobody was using that place. So
lovely.
we got the permission, cleared up that place, pulled out twigs and branches and one huge log, made the stage with that. And of course, like other things too. But then, mainly with that.
Nice.
Yeah. Everything around it also was very minimalistic.
But even for something as beautiful as Tangi Sessions, a closed community where, with such deep insight, you're trying to create a better situation and place for like-minded people. There was some recent thing that happened where, somebody tried to scam you guys.
Yeah, well, it's
a bad experience, right?
So I think it keeps happening. I mean, independent music, you're not a commercially big artist and you can't keep demanding and all of that. So when the artists are coming, we're always, it's not like a really successful or not successful. Of course it is successful. I'm saying a money-making machine, the independent music, the original music. You need more people. Maybe 5% of the people actually go seeking for original art or original music and all of that.
Authenticity.
Yeah. 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 So when that is happening, there's not much. Yeah. So that way, when we deal with other people, it's always tricky, and you don't get your payments on time. You're already pushing in money, and then don't get your. It's now in a comfortable space
Much
where
better
we
space.
are able to sustain it beautifully, and the artists and everybody involved are getting their due, and. But when people like this come in without understanding what we're trying to collectively do, because the
happens.
community comes in to help us, otherwise we wouldn't be able to do it by ourselves. A lot of people who come in to volunteer, and it's really nice. They help us, yeah. So when these things happen, it's like a little downer that we, yeah, but
But
it
it's a
keeps
support
happening.
also.
Yeah, it's a learning. It's always a learning. And then the next time we say 100% advance. That's
Oh,
all.
yeah.
No, nothing, no do.
You have
no
to be
go.
like precise in that
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
So if somebody from Hyderabad wants to, who are like-minded, I'm sure. So
Mm-hmm.
do you have a filter on how you pick these people if they really, because closed communities
Who
are
we're
closed.
dealing with?
Yeah, I mean, if there is like 100 people, right,
Hmm.
within the community right now for Tangi sessions.
Oh, so no. So the guests that we have, like in different venues, is what I was telling. The
Right.
people who come to watch, the audience who
Right,
come
the
to watch.
audience, yeah.
Yeah, it starts from 100 to 150. We've done city shows are usually like for 200, 300 maximum.
Right.
And we go out camping, it's different. That's
Right.
what I was telling.
But how
100
do you
people.
pick the people? Like,
How do I pick the people? So we've been doing this from 2016 onwards.
Right.
So it's all on our Instagram only now. Earlier it was just Facebook and Instagram. We put it out. So people who have attended the show already, we reach out to them because they totally understand. They've come, visited, seen what it is like. And we're slowly growing. So yeah, and they are
Makes sense.
in the right space of mind, and that's why they've seen this. So we're growing it right like that. So they tell their friends, but it's nice when we went for that All India tour.
Carbon footprint.
Carbon neutral one. There were people, when we were in Pune, there were people from Delhi saying, hey, this thing is happening in your city, why don't you go? There were people telling their friends.
Oh, wow.
So it's gone to different cities, and people from different cities know our Tangi sessions now. So
Lovely.
that way it's really
so
nice.
Tangi
So
sessions-
through the community, they are spreading the word more than anything. And that's why people are coming for these unique experiences. It's basically what me and Arjuna, like together, we want to do for ourselves. What kind of experience do we want to have next? Do we want to go for an adventure plus music or something else? And we do that. Yeah, like we understand what we want.
Yeah.
And then we start curating the show. We see which artist speaks to us. I mean, which artists we connect with, and then we are excited about having that person here in Hyderabad collaborate with different musicians. That's the thing about Tangi Sessions. We get different artists together.
So Instagram is the right place for people to understand what Tangi Sessions is about, and maybe, be a part of it if they
Kind of,
want
yes.
to.
Yeah, but we have our own community now. We have our own mailing list, all of that. Yes, not Instagram.
All right. What is your motto like in life as you, ride on the road and all of that, in terms of a bike rider? What do you say?
I've done a lot of car drives too across India, but in the car, I mean, this is a very typical statement, but in the car, it's like you're watching a movie, but it does feel like art. You're watching these things from the car. On the bike, you're in the movie. You are right there, feeling the breeze, feeling everything. Everything's affecting you physically also. It's not just visual.
What is a mindset which a person should have when they're going for a, solo ride or a group ride? Because when these kind of situations happen, because social media is in a way very advantageous because it gives you the facts right away. At the same time, it also scares you. Because situations like this
All
are
these, so many stories,
being raped, being gang raped, and being harmed and being like shot you know, the rope thing that you've mentioned, these are very scary.
Mhm.
You know, in situations like that, people get scared. You know, they get into the comfort zone. They're like, why should I
Why
go for
should
a
we even get into all of
yeah,
this?
and they might be the people like I, for example, for instance, I really wanted to go on so many rides. So in situations like this, what exactly is the mindset that one must have? You know, because despite of whatever happened, I really loved it when you said that I still will continue my rides. It can be a night ride also, but with more
Yeah.
awareness and with more
Yeah.
care and all of that. So what is the mindset that one must have in all these situations to go for either a solo ride or a, you know, group ride? I really wanted to ask you.
Group rides, of course, are safer.
Hmm.
Yeah, because you have so many people and your support system. And definitely do more group rides before you start off on your solo journey, maybe. Yeah, understand the ways of the world around us, understand what your highways are like, everything, get a feel of that. Where are they stopping? All of that is a good induction, like an internship towards your own journey.
Like pit
Yeah.
stops and all of that.
Yeah, understanding what kind of places are they choosing,
Hmm.
how are they doing it, are people suggesting it to them, what are they doing, what are their techniques. Yeah, preparation, awareness. Preparation is also not just about your bike or your gear and helmet and all of that. All that is very important. That is step 1, step 2.
Right.
Yeah, all of that.
Right.
But preparation also means knowing where to take help from if something is happening. Who are you going to contact? Which hospital is closest? What am I going to do if something is happening? So prepare to a certain level at least. Now it's been like so many years that I've been riding, so it's become a little more easier. I don't have to be, because I already know my things.
You are aware of the
Yeah,
path.
yeah. So that way, and I have my riding group too,
Right,
and
right,
I
right.
totally trust them.
You keep in
We
touch
call
with them.
Cerberus.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm going off network area, I tell them from this time to this time there won't be network. You won't see my route. Nothing. But then they are aware. But by around this hour, she should be reaching this
Oh,
place,
wow.
and so the network will come back.
That's amazing.
But yeah, earlier it was not like that. I was just going off. I was not so. But
Right.
now I think even if I don't want to do it, don't want everybody to know where I am or whatever, but this is the saner thing to do.
Yeah.
It's not about me in these situations. It's also about so many other people around me, my whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
Why disturb everybody like that? They're also concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do small little things. They feel much better too.
Right,
and it's also better for you.
And you know, when you go for your bike rides and all, do you use a GoPro? Like, have you documented any of your, you know, rides?
Yes, I have documented most of my rides. I mean, of course, earlier I had like the wrong equipment. Through trial and error, I kept getting back to better gear and understanding what I wanted. Yeah, I do have my GoPro mainly, but that's about it. I have so much footage, but it's all for myself. I like to go back once in a while and see, hey, what was that bit like?
It's not on
Where-
YouTube?
It's not on YouTube.
Why not?
Maybe someday. Maybe someday. Some other time. There's so many things that I have in my day-to-day life. If I'm sitting to edit it, that will take time. And I don't. Yeah, I should put an editor maybe, but then no. It's not made with the intention of putting it out there. I'm sure there's enough footage to make small little clips and reels and all of that. Someday I'll get there. But it's more for myself. My journey also is more for myself and my own moments and all of that.
Right.
So I go back to introspect and
Right.
see what I was like during that phase, what I was like during this phase.
Very
I just
nice.
talk randomly. Yeah.
And I believe GoPros are very helpful, you know, especially for you when you go on your long rides. I've seen a lot of bike riders who could, you know, show that as a proof, because, you know, usually I've noticed that when you're on a bike, even if a four-wheeler is coming in the wrong way, they very easily, you know, like say that it was the guy on the bike. So it happened to one of my friends. So it was a good thing that he was wearing a GoPro,
Yeah.
that footage could be used to, you know, show the
Yeah.
proof. So, you know, I believe maybe for the people who go on the rides also, it is good to probably invest in a good GoPro for our
But
own
there's,
safety. But
there's
it's,
also a law against it now.
oh,
I think the cops are not allowing you to have, because people are also getting too involved in more than the ride, that they have to speak and they have to talk, and they're also think the cops are getting recorded when you stop them,
I didn't know
when they
this.
stop you
Is
and
it?
all of that. Yeah.
Oh.
So helmet mounting, all of that is stopped. So many other places they've clearly mentioned that you can't have
Right,
it.
right.
Bikers and
Okay.
yeah,
So then
camera
it has
this
to
and
be
but yeah, you have to find out the actual rules, what
right,
it is
right.
like right now, and it is definitely helpful in situations like this.
that. Yeah.
And yeah,
I remember I was on my bike and it's in Jubilee Hills itself.
Yeah.
And there were some 3-4 bike riders who were coming in the wrong route. And
Mm-hmm.
I fell because I didn't expect they would be coming from this way.
yeah,
And then they were just looking at me and 3 guys just left. And there was
Mm-hmm.
just one guy who looked at me and I said, seriously? And then he came, he helped me, and then he took the right turn
Mm-hmm.
out of 4 people. The other 3, they didn't even care. They were seeing as he was helping me and then they left
Hmm.
in the wrong route.
Yeah,
I mean, the difference.
yeah,
It's happening
yeah.
in cities also.
Yeah, you don't know. You're not even expecting
Yeah.
somebody to come out from. Yeah, even my accidents, 2 accidents in the city itself on Jubilee Hills, the Chutneys Road, one in front of Yashoda Hospital, right there. So the guy came out from the lane,
Wrong route.
right? Not really wrong route, but somebody parked right after the turning where you turn. You can't see it from the road
Oh.
when you're coming.
That's not the right.
Yeah, you can't stop your car. They shouldn't be stopping your car or your bike. You take it a little ahead, 50 meters ahead, and stop so that the person turning can see your,
Yeah.
can have some way, right? So they parked it there. Now this guy coming from the lane, he couldn't see it. He just came. I'm on this lane, and he just came and he tried to turn. He couldn't, so he came into the, and the road was wet, and so he somehow swerved and everything, and then he just went, but he stopped there, but my bike went sliding. I went on the road, took 12, say all of that.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's like small little things like telling people not to park their cars or bikes right at the turn. Autos, every auto is parked right there.
Common sense.
Yeah. Things like that, things like coming in the auto.
Hmm.
They don't know how to ride in rain. The traction of the road changes. When there's water, the friction with the tire and the road is not the same. So when you're riding in the rain, it takes you a longer distance to brake. And so you should be riding in a certain way. You give, even on the highway, there's this 2-second rule. You go, if you're at 30, 40, you give a certain distance, 2 seconds for you to take, to reach the other vehicle. So if you're on the highway and you're riding at 100, 120, 140, you give a bigger brake, 2 seconds rule. You follow that, give that much brake. Shorter speeds, lesser distance, higher speeds, more distance. So now, if something is happening, you have enough time to brake your vehicle. So that is not followed here at all. They're just coming all over you, wet roads. I'm like, okay, this is not working. You guys, they're skidding everywhere. You can see, like in rainy season, so many people skidding right in front of you, here, there,
It's not even
but
proper.
yeah, they're not thinking about the friction or anything like
roads.
that. Of course, nobody needs to think about it so much. But then, yeah, they need to understand that braking won't work so much in wet roads. That's all they need to understand. Yeah. So that was another accident.
Oh.
Because somebody hit me from behind. They couldn't control their bike on a curve, and they came. It was like a toss from behind. Came, hit my bike. I was on my RX 100, so lighter bike, not on my heavier bike, and it just went and hit the divider directly. I got flicked like that, and hit. Thankfully, I had my helmet on even on this. Yeah, so went and hit, but despite that, I had like impact, like for so long it went black, and then I kept going in loops like Gajni. I was like sitting at one place, thinking the accident just happened, and telling them it's still bleeding. Everything was bleeding. So I was like, hey, where can I go? Went to the reception. Where can I go? Where's the washroom? Can I wash? I need to clean myself up. And then come back. And because I washed myself, it's still bleeding again. And then in 20 minutes, I'm back to the reception asking them, hey, can I go? Can you show me where the washroom is? I was in that loop till my friend, who was also my colleague, he called me asking, hey, are you okay? Did you reach back home? But I'm thinking I'm talking to him for the first time. And I'm like, hey, I just met with an accident. And that's when, earlier, like when he called me earlier in the day, I told him, no, I'm okay. I will go. Like fully self-dependent. I will go, no problem. I have a few bruises, but I'll manage. I'll go home on my own. But after like 3 hours, when he called me and I'm still in that loop, is when he's like, okay, you stay right there. I'm sending people, whatever you say. I'm like, no need, I'll just go. And then he's like, no, you stay there. I'm coming. And that's when This was because they didn't understand that during turns and it's a wet road, how do you manage that?
So this was an amazing podcast for all the people out there, bike riders. Bike riding is not just for men. Bike riding is bike riding. To just simplify it, and I am really, really excited, and I hope that all of you would find the insight in this podcast, The Hidden Mic, where the unspoken becomes the unheard with Deepa Radhakrishnan. Thank you.